So, what's my thoughts on these two interviews? It kind of tells you a lot about the impressions of these guys. Because, for my impression, I only think only one prospect has that impression for the 49ers. And that guy is Washington wide receiver Jalen McMillan. And here's why. In the conversations, the Niners have met with this guy multiple times, if not more. He fits what the Niners do. He runs routes, really good. Does dirty work, does exactly what Kyle wants his receivers to do. So there is that good vibe right there. There is that impression. When I mentioned the 49ers, if you watch the video, you can tell he was excited about it. And he brought up a lot about Kyle Shanahan and how he does shit. He likes to be there for sure. Just from the experience, just from visiting the team, he seems to want to be there. It gives me the impression. And I think that comes a long ways. He's projected to be a third-round draft pick, If not, fourth round at worst. But I think the reason why his stock is down is because the two receivers at Washington had better production. But that's not a knock on him. He missed some time with injuries. So when he was back on the field, Washington went to the national championship. He had some spectacular performance in that playoff bowl game or something. So there is something to like about him. And I don't think he'll be in the doghouse. I don't think so. And I just get the impression that he would be a great fit. So I took a few minutes of my time to get to know this guy. And just from getting to know him, he does fit the 49ers kind of style of play. So I think this is a Kyle Shanahan pick, in my opinion. But coming away with an interview with Kendall Milton, I just didn't get that vibe, I just didn't get that vibe. Okay, they might have had a conversation through the phone calls and FaceTime and all that stuff. But my impression is they have him as a late round guy. Maybe the switch fullback or something. But he kind of seems like he sees himself more as a running back. He kind of sees himself that way. But I think from getting to know Kendall Milton for a little bit, do that football camp, it gives me the impression that he kind of visions himself as a running back in the NFL. But I think if we draft him later round, I don't think he hesitates. I think he's more than okay to play that role. I think when it's all said and done, whoever gets Kendall Milton, they're going to get a good running back. He can be a good running back or an all-pro fullback. It's one or the other. But I think he's going to have a great career. I think the way how I looked at those guys, there is the great qualities that I see in Kendall Milton. And, I was talking with Tom Jensen the other day, and we were talking about Kendall Milton, about how he would fit on this Niners offense. He would be a perfect replacement for Kyle Juszczyk, a great pass blocker, a good receiving back also, and a guy who can do the dirty work. He would be the perfect candidate if we were to move on from Kyle Juszczyk next year and develop this kid. I think that would be the perfect guy. But just from those impressions, I think by my prediction, I think Jalen McMillan might be the surprise pick for some of you guys. I think he might be the guy that we probably had to move up in the early third round to get. So if we are going to get a wide receiver, I think it's between Jalen McMillan and I'm guessing Xavier Legette, one of the two guys. But I think McMillan's probably more of a likely chance. I'm thinking if we were going to get a receiver in the third, I'm thinking it's between McMillan and Rice. Legette's probably a long shot. If we want to get him, we have to get him in the second round or something, or he'd probably be gone by then. But I think the impression of it is you get an idea of what they are. And when you saw the expression from McMillan, he kind of has that excitement, like he's just saying, yeah, I want to go over there. What I got from Milton, it kind of seems like he's 50-50 because he's not really sure about them. Because all you had was phone calls. There was no track visits with him, with the Niners. The Niners and Kendall Milton didn't have no track visits. So I got that info about him having conversations through phone calls and FaceTime. So that's enough evidence to prove to you. So I gave that type of report to Steph Steph Sanchez, I gave her enough info for her to write it down. And I think by my impression, I just think that's where it's going to come down to. I think Milton would probably be drafted to a certain team that likes to use him as a running back. But if he slides further and the Niners have that option to get him, I think he would be the perfect guy to play fullback at the next level. But that's my 2 cents. But I'm hoping in the draft we do get McMillan. I really like this kid. I like his game. He's a good route runner, and he would be a perfect fit. He would be a mismatch. If you thought Ayuk runs them damn good routes, you ain't seen what McMillan can do in college, man. I'm telling you, this guy's good. So that's my 2 cents about it. That's my impression about it.